Greetings to all. We are in a continuity lecture session of data structures in our language. Topic for today's lecture is list. So far, we have covered vector, array, and matrix. Why? Because vector is a single dimensional array, matrix is a two-dimensional array, and the arrays in our language are multi-dimensional language. Not only that, matrix needed vector as input, arrays also needed vector as a input. The only difference between these three is matrix is a two-dimensional but it needs atomic vector, array contains multi-dimensional and it also needs atomic vector. So an atomic vector is nothing but the vector contains same kind of data types in it. Generally, the normal definition of a vector is sequence of elements of same data type. In other programming languages like C, C++, Java, the sequence of elements of same data type, we call it as an array. Here, vector is a single dimensional array, matrix is a two-dimensional array, and arrays in our language are multi-dimensional arrays. Coming to list, list is somewhat different from the vector, but it is a kind of vector because vector receives only same kind of data, but whereas in list the list contains different kind of data in it. So let us see how to create and what is the definition for the list. Definition: list are the second type of vector. As I said, they are the second type of vector. So we call that second type of vector as a generic vector. The first type of vector is an atomic vector. Atomic vector contains only same type of data types. Okay, the vector generic type of vector contains different type of data elements in it. So list are the objects of R which contains elements of different types such as numbers, strings, and characters. Numbers, strings, and characters are primitive data types in our language, whereas list contains vector also, and list contains matrix also, list contain function also. These are, and vector and matrix are not a primitive data types, they are the data structures. So list contain data structures in it. So list accept primitive data types as well as data structures in it. So to form a list, how to create a list? So to create a list, we have a function called list. Actually, to create a vector, we have taken the support of combine function, right? So to create a list in our language, we are taking the support of function list. So I will show it in practical manner. So I will open my R environment. So here, this is the R environment. Here I am going to create a list. A is a list. So the A contains different type of data elements in it. So this is the character, and I'm taking a vector also, and I am taking logical values. Please note it, logical values should not contain double quotes in it, right? And one numeric 22.5 decimal value. Decimal values are numeric in our language, and one integer So see here, in a single list we have one character object, one vector, true and false values, numeric value, integer value. Enter. So I'm printing the list A here. See the first value of the list, second value of the list, third value, fourth value, fifth value, and sixth value of the list. This is the way to create list in a R language. So what is the syntax of list? Is there any syntax for the list? No, there is no syntax for the list. Just you can use list function directly, because it takes array as input, it takes vector as input, it takes matrix as input, it takes normal values as input. So if we pass matrix, matrix itself has its own data, sorry, syntax, and vector itself it has own syntax, and array has its own syntax, and there is no need of individual values like 22.512L syntax. So list is an list accepts every data type in it. So right, how to give names to list elements? So basically we can give simply names to a list. First we need to create a list and assign a name to the list elements with the help of names function, and then we can access using uh, print function, right? So how to naming list elements? First we need to create a list that contains names as vector, and marks as matrix, and group course names in list. So I wanted to create a list, and that list name is A. I am taking again A as a list. In that I am using list function. This is the basic syntax of list function. In this list function I'm passing, so basically, so see, uh, std student, I will create an individual vector student C. Okay, Ravindra. This is a character vector. Okay, what is happening, man? Double quote missed here. Okay, right. No, here also double quotation missed here. Anywhere? No. Right. Std is a vector. Then I wanted to create a matrix, mat. So in this matrix I'm taking how to create a matrix using matrix function, right? I'm passing values 100 comma 100 comma 100 comma 90 90 90 90 90 90 100 100 100. This is my data for the matrix. And what is the other parameter? Number of rows is equal to 4 comma, if you wanted to mention by row parameter, that is good, and it is optional also, right? So I'm leaving this. This is my vector, right? Then after I'm creating a list, ELI, here BCA, MCA, MSC, and MBA. This is a list. See, I have three types of data structures. One is vector here, one is matrix here, one is list. We will print each and every one. This is a vector, this is a matrix, and Li is a list. So what I wanted to do right now is I'm taking another variable called CLG, stands for college, CLG. So I'm binding three categories into a single list because list accept different kind of data types. So here what I will do is std, right? I think std, std, okay, comma, another one is matrix. Std is a vector, mat is a matrix, and li is a what, list. Enter. So college CLG was created. So shall we see the output of CLG? Okay, ready? Yes, see here, this is the output. This is the vector in the list, and this is the matrix in the list, and this one is names of the groups, right? Names of the groups. So what, now I will show you the general scenario how it will store. The general scenario how it will store. What is the name of the list? CLG, right? So I will take print for better explanation. So here you see, this is the list, right? Assume this is the list. This list name I have taken is CLG, and list contains what? Indexing. So list contains indexing. This is 1 and this is 2. Here the list accept different kind of data. So here I have taken vector, here I have taken matrix, here I have taken another list, right? So the values of index, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, with respect to the name CLG, right? With respect to college, CLG is a list variable. The list variable contains three values in it. One is vector, 2 is matrix, 3 is list. So list contains values in it, right? List contains values. What kind of values? So list contains values. I will write again. Names here. List also contains values. Names, Ravindra, some other name, right? So here I will write this list. I have some name Ravindra, and here some other name, and here what, and so these are the names or values in a list. And again you need to observe one thing, list vector also contains indexing, right? This is the 1, 2, 3, and is the fourth index. Nice. And here I have taken matrix, and that matrix is, what is the size of the matrix? 4 rows. 4 rows. How many values are there? 12 values. So definitely If I have 4 rows, how many columns will be there? Automatically the number of columns will be what? 3. 1, 2, 3. So right. And here also you need to know that indexing is there. 1, 2, 3. And here, because matrix what? Matrix has rows and columns, right? So this is indexing. And list, again list inside a list, right? Again list. So how the outer portion look like? It is also like this. Okay, in the list what we have is the names of the courses: BCA, MCA, MSc, and what, MBA. So I will write BCA and MCA, MSc, and MBA. This is the structure of a list that we have created, right? And this one is having um, index, right? So how to access right now? With respect to college, if you have chosen, if you wanted to print a CLG of 1, what will be printed? Entire list will be printed. Okay, see here. Mm. So that is the output of list. So here what I am doing is CLG of 1. CLG of 1 means what? What will print? What will be the output of the that statement? According to the diagram, I can say CLG of 1. With respect to CLG, if I access index 1, then definitely what 1 contains, list vector, sorry, vector. So total vector is the value that presented in the index number 1 of college. So vector will be printed automatically. We will see. So vector will be printed automatically. So is there any chance to access individual values of a vector? We will see that also. And what is the CLG of 2 with respect to that? CLG of 2 with respect to what? With respect to diagram. With respect to diagram, college of index 2 contains what? Total matrix, right? In index 2, total matrix will be printed as output. We will see that also. Right, matrix will be printed. And what is the uh, index number 3 contains? A list. It contains a list. See that a list was printed. So if I am interested to access my CLG of 1, I wanted to access Ravindra out of the list. Is it possible? So I will do that. See, here you need to observe very carefully. So how many of you people will say the Ravindra will be the output of this statement? How many? Just comment below. Okay, that is not the output of Ravindra. So what is the mistake of that statement? I will tell you. Wait, you are accessing list from outside. That means you have not tapped into the vector, just you tapped into the what? CLG of 1 into 1 itself only. So you need to enter into the vector element accessing. For that you need double indexing. double indexing, right? See here, carefully watch. So CLG, I'm placing double indexing. So what is the output of this statement? As usual, my vector values, but you have to observe the difference here. I have total control on vector. Here I have a control on list. So now if I wanted to print Ravindra from the list, this is the exact statement for that. So now I am pointing to the um, vector in a list. So you can access like this, right? Nice, right? So then I will ask you a question that how to I'm printing now I'm printing what? Index number 2 of college. What it contains? What it contains? It contains matrix. So you can see there are four. What there are? There are uh, four rows and three columns. So if you wanted to access 100, or if you wanted to access the total row of this vector, how to access that? Please, anyone? So right, this will give you total control on vector. So what? Matrix contains what? Row and column, right? So what do you want? I want total row of which column? I want total row of what? Third column. Is it right? All rows of third column. Right, exactly right. 90, 100, 100, 100. Again, if I wanted 4 comma 3, what it will generate? 100. If I want 1 comma 1, what it will print? 100. If I want 1 comma 2, what it will print? 90. Right? So here we can clearly know that to access inside values of a list, we need double indexing, right? So this also, but here list should not be contains rows and columns, so it will give you an error. So for that only you should mention so BCA, right? So this is the way to access elements in a list. Okay. uh, the main agenda of this session is accessing, creating list, and naming to list elements. How to name list elements? This is our one of the topic in list. So how to give mention names to the list elements. Before that, the drawback in a vector, it stores only same type of data. Note, drawback in the vector is overcome by list. What is the drawback? So list can store different type of data. So how to assign user defined names as index? If I wanted to assign names for the index, see in our diagram, we have seen that here you can see 1 2 3. So instead of 1 2 3, if I wanted to give names for these, how to assign names for all of these indexes. So this is our target. Just create and use names function. In that you can supply whatever names you want, and print the list. Just we will see that practically. Use function called names. So for what list you are going to assign uh, naming. I'm assigning name for the college, right? So what are the names? So for the first thing, I can say that is a student student names. And for the second one I can say uh, marks. For the third one I can say courses. I think, oh, now you can see, sorry, enterman. Here you can see student names, marks, courses, right? You can arrange this marks array in a beautiful manner also. How will you arrange? I will tell you. I think you know how to create um, this is the matrix, right? We have created. So here what you will do here, comma, dimension names, right, is equal to list of what first row names I wanted to give. uh, no, this is a one list for rows, and this is another list. Subject names I am entering, right, and then so matrix was created. I am printing that matrix. So unexpected symbol in mat. What? I haven't closed that. So see that output. Those are the marks. So I will do one thing, right? So I will recreate list CLG. List mat li, right? Now you see the output of CLG. Okay, now you can assign uh, names using name function, right? Names of CLG, combine function, what, student names, comma, marks, comma, courses, right? So now again print it. See, student names. These are the student names. Marks. These are the marks. These are the student names. These are the subjects, and these are the marks of a student. Each student. These are the courses of student, right? So you can access um, each and every student using another operator also. See CLG of dollar symbol what you can access uh, student if underscore names, right? You can directly access like this. CLG dollar symbol of what? Dollar symbol, man. Dollar symbol of what? Marks. Right, nice, right? So this is a way to create names for what? Names to create elements in a list. So accessing also we have seen in different ways. We can access each and every element in a list using their indexes, where to use double indexing, why it is needed, right? So fine. And you can access using their uh, names also. So this is all about list, and we can convert a list into vector also. So how to create a list into vector? Just you can use unlist function to create a list into vector, but make sure that the list contains only integers or same kind of data, because and the vector accept only same kind of data. So before converting a list, but list contains different kind of data, right? So before converting, make sure that what it contains only same kind of data, then only it will be accepted. For example, we will see how to unlist. That means how to make a list into a vector. For example, I am taking a variable x, and in this, that variable is um, making I'm making x as a list, right? So here x is a list here. So I wanted to create this one as a vector. So I'm taking y as a variable to create that as a vector. So for that, unlist function, unlist, unlist of what? X. So y is a vector. Here see how to identify this as a list and this as a vector. See, you can observe this is the double indexing, here single indexing, right? So y becomes now what? A vector. And in similar manner you can perform combining two lists also, that is called as merging operation. So how to merge two lists in a list operations? So I'm taking y variable again, making it as another list. So 20, 20 to 30. So here I have x, I have y. So 10 to 20, 20 to 30. So new list after merging operation. How to merge? Just you can simply use the list function and x comma y. Use that x comma y and print that new list. See, the elements are combined together and formed in a new list. These are the operations we can perform in list. I think you people have an idea on list and list operations, how to create list, and what is the difference between list and vector. So list and vector is a uh, single data type, and it takes only atomic data types. That means it takes only integers, or it takes only logical values, or it takes only character values. But whereas in the case of list, it will take different kind of data in it, so that it is useful to create real-time entities. I think if you have I think it is clear for all you people. If you have any doubt, or any doubt regarding the list, or regarding data structures, uh, feel free to comment in the comment section. I will reply as early as possible. Thank you.